Would you like to have a safe and secure portable operating system on the USB stick that you can take with you anywhere you go? If so, then this video is for you. In this video, we will learn step by step how to create a bootable USB stick with an operating system on it that you can literally use anywhere. This is perfect for those who want to have their own operating system wherever they go. As for their operating system, we'll be using a great, modern and popular Linux distro called Pop! OS. I already have some videos how to install Pop! OS on your laptop and make it dual boot with Windows, so if you're interested, I'll put links in the description. But today we'll learn how to create a bootable USB stick with Pop! OS on it, and one key feature about this bootable Pop! OS USB drive is that it's gonna save everything you customize or do in this operating system. Unlike other videos where we created a bootable USB drive with an operating system on it that you can only use as a live boot, and after it's shut down everything is wiped out. This one you can actually use as your normal operating system on your computer. All the progress is saved on the drive, so you can install software, save files, and they won't be wiped out when you shut it down. Well, let's get started, and before we start, if you're new to the channel, please take a second to click the subscribe button. This will help me to grow my channel and bring you more helpful and interesting Linux tutorials and other quality content. And of course, if you find this video helpful, please support it with your like, and if you're still gonna have any questions, of course drop them down in the comment section below. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. For this job, we're gonna need two USB sticks. One needs to be at least 4 GB and another one at least 16 GB, but preferably 32 GB. So I have found two USB sticks. One is actually 128 GB and the other one is 32 GB. This will be enough. I will be installing the Pop! OS on the 32 GB because that's going to be plenty for that operating system. But of course, if you're planning to use it for longer, I would suggest you get a 128 GB USB stick and install Pop! OS on that. This way you can save a lot more files. Also, one thing that you need to know, make sure that the USB stick that you're going to get is going to be USB 3.0 because it will be a lot faster and it will help the system to load faster and operate faster as well because everything is going to be limited by the speed of the USB connection. So the faster the USB stick, the faster your operating system will perform.
Okay, so the first step we need to do, we need to download the image ISO file of Pop! OS. For that, we just gotta open up any web browser, go to the search field and type Pop! OS. The first search result is likely gonna be the one that we're gonna need. Just make sure it is gonna be from the system76.com and there should be HTTPS in front of it to make sure this is a secure website. So let's go ahead and click on it. It's gonna bring us to the official webpage of Pop! OS, and this is where you can get familiarized with Pop! OS itself, see what it looks like, see the main features of it and main advantages. This specific Linux distro is very popular among content creators. It is designed for deep learning, engineering, media production, and other stuff as well. So if you're a content creator, this will be a great operating system for you. If you're doing some other stuff, it will be good as well because it has a pretty and user-friendly desktop environment and user interface, so I'm sure you're gonna like it. The key feature of Pop! OS is out-of-the-box encryption. It encrypts your hard drive so nobody can access it unless they know the password. So while you're installing Pop! OS, you can check to encrypt the hard drive, and this way it's gonna be much more secure. And this is very great for somebody who wants extra layer of security. It is not offered out of the box in other Linux distros, so this is great they have included it. And this is one of the features that improves security and keep your files safe. But anyways, let's go ahead and click on the download button. And this is gonna bring us to the download page of Pop! OS. As you can see right now, there are only 3 versions available. The first one is the 2204 LTS, and LTS stands for the long-term support, which means you're gonna get extended support for this version of Pop! OS. This includes security updates, software updates, and more. The second option is 2204 LTS NVIDIA, and this is the one that I'm gonna be using today. And NVIDIA means that if you have a computer that you're gonna be using this operating system on, has NVIDIA graphics card, you're better off downloading this ISO file because it will give you all the drivers for NVIDIA graphics card right out of the box. But you can also use the first one and then just download the manual, but just to make it easier, we're gonna use the second one. And the third option is 2204 RASPi4. This is gonna be for the Raspberry Pi computer, which we're not gonna use. Anyway, the recommended hardware specs for this system is 4 GB of RAM, 16 GB of storage, So you can use a 16 GB USB drive, but of course this is recommended. But if you want to have more storage, you need to have at least 32. Then it needs a 64-bit processor and the USB 3 storage. The file size is pretty large, it's almost 3 GB for the NVIDIA version. And on the bottom here you have the SHA-256 sum. We're gonna use this sum to verify the ISO image that we're gonna download. And this step I was always skipping in my previous videos because it is not mandatory and it requires extra steps to perform. So I was always just skipping this step. But in this video I'm going to show you how to do this, and we're going to include an extra step of verifying the image. So I will show you how to do that because I was getting feedback and comments from my viewers and they were asking me about this step and how to verify the image. So in this video I'm going to show you how to do that, so stay tuned. Anyway, there is also a link where you can learn how to create installation media. You can read throughout it. It shows you all the steps, how to install Pop! OS on your computer. But if you want to watch this video to the end, I'm going to show you how to do that and explain everything in detail. Anyway, let's go ahead and click on the download button, and it's going to start downloading right away. As you can see, it's 2.9 GB, but it's downloading pretty fast. It's going to be like 30 seconds and it's going to be ready to go. But I'm gonna speed it up even a little bit more so it doesn't take very long. After it's downloaded, let's go ahead and proceed to the second step where we're gonna verify the image and make sure that the downloaded ISO file is exactly the same as the one is on a server from Pop! OS. So now let's go ahead and click on the arrow at the downloaded file and click show in folder. As you can see, we have Pop! OS fully downloaded. Now let's go ahead and verify it. So what you need to do is just press Windows plus X, the Windows button on the keyboard, and plus X. It's going to bring us a helpful menu. You just got to click on Windows PowerShell. This PowerShell consists of a command line shell and a scripting language. So we're going to be using this command line to run some processes that will allow us to calculate the SHA-256 sum using the Windows PowerShell. So in the PowerShell, you got to be typing exactly the same as I'm typing on the screen, because if you do even one single mistake, for example, you put a capital instead of lowercase, or if you put a space where there is no space, or put a dash, it will not understand it. It's not like a Google search where you can type a word and it understands what you're looking for. This PowerShell requires exact commands, otherwise it will not understand it, and it will just say the command not found or something like that. Alright, so the first thing we need to type is cd, and then we need to find the location path where the file is. So for that, you just gotta open File Explorer, then go to the download folder, and you just gotta copy the address at the top. For that, you can just right click on it and then just choose copy address as text. Then go back to the PowerShell and just press Ctrl plus V. It's gonna paste what you have copied, and then just press enter. Now once we found the path, we need to enter the second command. As you can see, it already found the downloads. And then the next command you need to type is get dash file hash, then space dash algorithm space SHA-256, and then space dash path dot inclined line. And then after that, we need to put the file name, but we need to put the whole file name with an extension. So for that, you just gotta go back to the File Explorer, to the downloads, then click on the arrow at the top. It's gonna open up the top menu. Then you just navigate to the View menu, and where the checkbox is for the file extension, just make sure it's active. And now we have an extension. Just click on the file, highlight the whole name with an extension, then right click and press copy. Go back to the PowerShell and press Ctrl plus V. It's gonna paste that whole name in the command line and press enter. It's gonna take just a few seconds and voila, it's done. So the HSA-256 number is over here. It's a huge number, so now we need to compare it to the number that we have on the website. So if we put it side by side, and you can just take a minute and write them all out and compare them side by side. It's a terribly huge number, so it will take a minute or two, but anyway, you can just pause it and compare it if you like. So this is how it's done. This is the process, and now you can see why I wasn't showing that process in my previous videos, because it's not complicated, but it still requires extra steps that are usually not necessary for beginner users. But anyway, now you know it, and if the number matches, that means that this file is not corrupt. It has everything exactly the same as on the server from the official website, and this means there is nothing added or removed from the original image ISO file. There are other third-party tools that you can use to calculate the SHA-256 and other hash sums. Some popular free tools for hashing and checksum verification include HashCalc, HashMyFiles, and other software as well. So if you're interested, you can download them and it will make it a little bit easier for you to calculate the checksums for different algorithms. But to check the SHA-256 sum on Windows 10, you can use a PowerShell, which is a powerful command line tool available in Windows. Okay, let's move on to the next step, and the next step we're gonna need to download the program to flash the ISO onto the USB stick, and for this purpose we're gonna be using Balena Etcher. So all you have to do is just gotta go to any web browser again, search for Balena Etcher, and the first search result should bring you to the official web page of Balena Etcher. It should be the etcher.balena.io. It's gonna take us to the website, and here we can download different versions of Balena Etcher. If you have in Windows, you just download it for Windows. If you have Mac OS, you can download it for Mac OS. But since I have Windows 64-bit, I'm gonna download the 64-bit, and I'm gonna do the portable one so I don't have to install it. If you would like to install it permanently on your computer, you can do that as well. Then you just gotta download their installer, but I'm just gonna download portable one. After it's been downloaded, just press on the downloaded file. It's gonna open up this program, and as you can see, it is very minimalistic, it's very simple. First, what we need to do, we need to find the file that we're gonna be flashing from. So we gotta press flash from file, then go to downloads or wherever you have the ISO file saved. In my case, it's gonna be in the downloads folder. So just choose the Pop! OS ISO. The second step, we need to select the target. In my case, I'm gonna be using a 128GB USB stick. But for this purpose, you can actually use only a 4GB, but I just couldn't find any smaller one available, so I decided to use this one. But later on, you can just format it and it will be back to normal, so don't worry. But one important thing, before you click flash, you gotta make sure that this USB stick doesn't contain any important information, no documents, no files that you need, because once you flash it, it will format it and it will remove everything from the USB stick. So before you click flash, make sure to copy everything and back it up. If you know there is nothing important there, just go ahead and click flash, and it will start the flashing process and put all the files on the USB stick. And while it's flashing, I just want to tell you a couple things why I decided to try Linux and why I wanted to switch to Linux and why you might want to consider Linux as your next operating system. Well, first of all, because it's free. It's absolutely free, you don't have to spend a penny on it, and it offers a great user experience. You get all the security updates, all the software updates, you get a long-term support. Also, all the updates are not mandatory and you can choose whether you want to install them or not and when to install them. It's not like Windows where it pushes you to install all the updates, and if you don't install them, it just does it automatically and doesn't even let you choose. And most of the times it just makes your system worse than better. Yeah, definitely good if you can choose the updates. Another great thing about Linux, Linux is very much people oriented, and a lot of Linux users will try to help each other. For example, if you have any questions, just drop them down in the comment section below, and if I can help you, I will do that. So this is a great thing where you get support from other users as well. And nowadays Linux is getting more and more software, so you basically can do almost anything with Linux. Unlike older days where Linux was limited for software, nowadays there are hundreds of different programs that you can do anything you like web browsing, watching videos, doing 3D modeling, and other stuff as well. And this specific Linux distro is very much suited for engineering and deep learning, media production, so people who like to create stuff, but also for those who just like the way it looks. And it does give you a lot of different customization options and has some great features which we will not cover in this video because it will make it too long, but you can check out other videos as well. Anyway, once it's done flashing, it's going to start validating the file, make sure that it was flashed correctly. And after it's been flashed, we can go ahead and close the program, and we're going to start the next step. We're going to start installing Pop! OS on the USB stick. Let's do that. So go ahead and insert both USB sticks into the computer or laptop that you will be using to install Pop! OS on the USB stick. Then turn it on, and before it starts booting, go ahead and press F12 or other keys depending on the manufacturer of your computer motherboard or your laptop brand. There could be a variety of different keys that can be used. In my case, it is F12, but this is only for the Acer laptop. For some laptops, it could be F11, F10, F9, F8, F7, escape or delete. So the key is going to be different for a different model. So if the first key doesn't work, don't worry. Just try another one and you'll find the one that's going to let you into the boot device menu. And here we can choose which device we're going to be booting from. In my case, this is going to be this USB stick. It's actually called USB CD-ROM SanDisk. I don't know why it's called CD-ROM, but whatever. Yeah, so this is the one. It could be called like USB HDD sometimes, but just look for the USB name and that's probably going to be the one, because the other USB stick that we have, there is nothing on it, so it won't boot from it. Okay, then just press enter. It's going to initiate some different processes, so just wait until they're finished and it will automatically boot into the operating system. There we go. So this is a live environment and this is called a live boot. So basically you can explore Pop! OS as it is from the USB stick right now. You can even connect to the internet. You can use web browsers. You can type documents. You can play games, anything you like. But the major disadvantage of this live boot is that after you shut it down, everything will be wiped out. And next time you load it, it will be like a brand new fresh start. But if you want to have all your customization, all your settings saved, we need to create a proper operating system on the USB stick. First of all, I'm going to connect to the internet because during the installation process, it might require internet connection. It is not mandatory, but if you have internet connection, it might download the necessary drivers and updates during the installation process, so it is very good. So for that, you just got to go to the top right corner, then click on the Wi-Fi not connected, then choose select network, choose the network that you want to connect to, enter the password for the network and press connect. Then we just got to go through the few standard steps. First, you got to choose the language of the operating system. I'm just going to stay with English and press select. Then we got to select the keyboard language as well. I'm just going to stick with English as well and press select. In English, you can also choose a variety of different keyboard layouts. I'm just going to stick with the standard one and press select. Then in this step, this is a very important step. We got to choose custom or advanced. This will let us create, resize, and manage partitions on the USB stick so we can manually choose where we want to install Pop! OS. So just press custom and click next. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, there are two disks available. One is the internal disk in this laptop and another one is a USB SanDisk drive. So we're going to be installing it on the USB SanDisk drive. And now we have to follow through 3 steps. We need to create 2 partitions. One is going to be the boot partition and another one is going to be the root partition. So to do that, go to the bottom left corner of this window where it says modify partitions. Click on it. It's going to bring up a gparted window, which will let us resize and create partitions that's going to be used for Pop! OS. Then go to the upper right corner of the program and choose the USB stick. You can easily find it out by the size. It could be the DAV/SDA or SDB, but the best way to distinguish it is by size. Because I'm going to be installing it on a 32GB USB drive, so the closest size is 28GB. If you have a different size USB stick, just find the one and make sure you choose that USB stick that you will be installing on. Otherwise, you might delete the wrong partitions. So before doing anything, make 100% sure that you own that USB stick. In my case, it is a 32GB USB stick and the closest size that I can see here is 28GB. So that's the one. The other one is too big and the SSD drive in this laptop is way bigger. So this is how I can tell which drive I should choose. So what we're going to need to do, we're going to remove all the partitions that are existing on this USB stick. For that, just right click on the available partition and choose delete. It's going to remove that partition and it will leave us with unallocated space. Then click on the check mark at the top. It's going to apply the operation. After you have deleted all the partitions, we need to create 2 partitions. So for that, just right click on the unallocated space and then select new. And first we need to create a boot partition. I'm going to allocate 1000MB for the boot partition. Even though you don't need 1000MB, you need a little bit less than that. I have tried with 500MB and it said it wasn't enough. So instead of just trying 700, 800, I just tried 1000MB. This way we know there is enough room for the boot files. So I have allocated 1000MB for the boot partition. So the new size will be 1000MB. Then create as, we're going to leave as primary partition because for the boot partition, it needs to be primary. The partition name, we'll call it boot partition. The file system is going to be ext4, and then the label is going to be boot partition as well. And then just click add. Then click on the check mark at the top. It's going to apply the operation, and it doesn't take very long. Now we need to create a root partition as well, so right click on the unallocated space, then select new, and now we're gonna just select the whole size, whatever is left from the boot partition. We're gonna leave create as primary partition. The partition name, we're gonna call it root partition, file system ext4, and label root partition. And then just click add. After that, go ahead and press on the check mark again, and it's gonna apply operation. It might take a little bit longer because it's a bigger partition. All right, now we all done. We can close this program and go back to the SanDisk. So first what you need to do, click on that first little partition that we have, then press use partition. For the use as, we gotta find the boot /, then click on the second partition, choose use partition, and select the use as root /. If for some reason you're not able to delete partitions using the gparted in Linux, it was actually happening to me as well. The operation was grayed out and I didn't know why it wasn't doing that. So what I did, I just went to Windows, went to the disk management. For that, you just press Windows +X and then just choose disk management. And in the disk management, just find the USB stick, right click on it and choose delete volume. This will delete the volume, and of course it will remove all the data on the USB stick. So make sure you don't use any USB stick that you have any files on. But once you know that there is nothing important, go ahead and click yes. And now as you can see, it says free space. This means that there are no partitions on this USB stick, and now we can insert it into the Linux machine and we can create new partitions. So this is just one tip how you can do that. In case for some reason in gparted the operation is grayed out and you don't know how to fix it. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So now we're almost done. All you have to do, just press erase and install. It's going to ask you for the full name. Let's go ahead and call it Pulsar Tech. You can put your own name, then press next. Choose the password for your operating system. This password will be required every time you log in. Then press next. And there we go. The process has started. It started partitioning the drives, extracting files, installing files. So this will take a while depending on your computer and depending what USB stick you have. Since this is a USB 3.0, it's going to be pretty fast, but of course it's not going to be anywhere as fast as when you install it on the computer on the SSD drive, because there is still a limitation for the USB connection, plus we're installing it from the USB and on the USB. So that will take some time. And in my case, it took 20 minutes to finish the installation. Let me know in the comment section below how long it took you to install Pop! OS on the USB stick. That would be interesting to compare and see if my time was the same as yours or if you get it faster. Anyway, the rest of the process is going to be automatic. I'm just going to fast forward it until it's finished. Alright, it's finishing the installation and the installation is done. So now we need to restart the device. So just click on restart device. And once it's restarted, go ahead and remove the installation media, the one that we had the ISO flashed on. This is going to be the 128GB USB stick in my case. In your case, just the one that you had the ISO flashed on. Then before it starts booting, go ahead and press F12 again, because we need to boot from the USB stick. In my case, it's going to be F12, but if you're using a different machine, you can have other key as well. Just press the same key to get into the boot device menu. And as you can see, the boot selection number 2 is USB HDD USB, and now it's called USB HDD, not CD-ROM. But anyway, that's the one we need. So we're going to start booting from this USB stick. So just select it, and we're going to wait a little bit. It's going to be a little bit slower than booting from your internal SSD because it's coming from the USB stick, but it's still pretty fast. Actually, in my case, it loaded up in 45 seconds. Which I think is pretty good for loading from the USB stick. Let me know in the comment section below how long it takes for your system to load. But anyway, now we need to just log in. So use your password that you have set up during the installation process. And voila! Pop! OS from the USB stick. Everything is working. Now we can go ahead and check it out and see how it looks. So there's going to be a little setup process. You can close it or you can just set it up right now. Then we can go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi. Choose the network you want to connect to, enter your password and click connect. And there we go. Now the Wi-Fi is connected. I'm just gonna skip adding new accounts and this initial setup. And let's go ahead and check out the operating system. So as you can see, everything is working. There is programs here, there is web browser, there are files, terminal, pop shop, settings, there's workspaces. And what I like about Pop! OS is that everything looks so clean. And I think one of the main features about Pop! OS is that everything looks big. It's more like icons for the tablet, not for the desktop. And honestly, I really like it. These apps are so big. Calculator, calendar, contacts, files, Firefox, settings, everything here. Let's go ahead and check out how fast it works. So I'm going to click on the calculator. Boom. I think it was like just a split second and it opened up. So there we go. Everything's working. Let's check out other apps. Calendar. Keep in mind, everything's working from the USB stick. Then you also get in different workspaces. So you can have few workspaces. For example, this one here. As you can see, there is nothing here, but I can switch between different workspaces, which is great. Then also, if you go to the pop shop, there is a lot of different programs you can choose from, like accessories, audio, communication, development, education, and so on, like graphics, media production, math, science, engineering, office. Let's check out the office. There we go. So you have different office apps such as Adobe Reader, and then you have some other ones. There should be an open office somewhere here. Yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of different apps. This is only for the office. If you go to audio, there is lots of apps for the audio. So yeah, you have lots of different apps you can find. Then if we go here at the top, you get in the volume control, you get in the brightness of the screen, then you get in battery. Right now it's showing the battery almost full. You will get the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, you have all the settings, and you can modify a lot of different things here. You can do a desktop background. Let's put the original one, or not the original, the one that's for this version of Pop! OS. Then you have the light or dark. There we go. I'll switch back to light. And but I like the dark one better because it's just easier on your eyes. So I'll keep it the dark. Yeah, as you can see, there's hundreds of different settings and they're all in one place. You can just get familiarized with them, and yeah, it should be all just great.
So yeah, this is it guys. I hope you find this video helpful. So now on this little tiny USB stick, we got a whole operating system that we can use anywhere and we can put it in any computer. Just remember that to load from this USB stick, you might need to press F12 or other keys. That's gonna let you boot from the USB stick. That's it. Otherwise, everything is working. And everything you save on this USB stick is gonna be saved there so you can access it later. I hope you find this video helpful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more interesting, helpful videos and click the notification bell so you don't miss new videos. And of course, if you have any comments, questions, drop them down in the comment section below. I'll be happy to help you. And this is it for now. I hope you have a nice day. See you soon. Bye-bye.